What is up, everybody? Welcome to the MMA Engine. These are my final thoughts for UFC Vegas 56. We have Alexander Volkov going against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. As always, we're going to be talking through 14 fights this week. Going to be talking through some betting, some Draftkings, and talk a little bit about the weigh-ins as well. I thought the weigh-ins were very important this week. There are a lot of fighters I wanted to see. I wanted to see Volkov on the scale. I wanted to see the newcomers, Almeida, Karine, Silva, Fakhretdinov, and there's some new fighters at some new weight classes. We had Benoit Saint-Denis, Stolte. We had the Fakhretdinov Michailidis fight at 170 for the first time for both those guys. I wanted to see Felice, Herrig, Karolina, Kowalkiewicz. So I thought the weigh-ins were very important, and we'll definitely talk about all of those. Before we get started, guys, and get into it, if you guys can please leave a like, subscribe here to the MMA Engine YouTube channel. Tons of content throughout the week. I think we're like 9 subs away from 900. If we could hit that by 5 times, that'd be awesome. So if you guys do enjoy the content, make sure you guys do leave a like and also subscribe as always. Let us hit up the chat before we get into it. We got Mushroom, very first one in the chat. What is up, Brady? Let's start a 12-week ass shaving of the bookies and as usual violence. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of violence on this card, and I think there's going to be some ass shavings as well. What is up, Mushroom? We got Tony in the chat. What is up, Brady? Looking forward to a busy summer. Yeah, like Mushroom said, 12 weeks in a row. So definitely have a ton of work cut out for us. I'm definitely looking forward to. We got Philip saying, what's up? What is up, Philip? We got Ron in the chat. What is up? We got Bill in the chat as well saying, bring it. Hype MMA. What is up, Hype? David saying fights are back, even if it means Herrig and KK. Let's go. Yeah. Not looking forward to that one, but I am looking forward to the other 13 fights on the card. That's for sure. Mahler saying scary card. I think this card's a lot better for betting than the last two. And I did have a lot of success in the last 2 cards. So hopefully it's a really good night. And I have a ton of bets as well. So hopefully it's a good one. Zayed, what's up, Brady? Good luck for you on Saturday. Good luck to you as well. We got Art saying, what is up? What is up, Art? We got Sean in the chat saying, let's go, Brady. Let's go, Sean. Nigel saying, what's up, brothers and sisters? What is up, Nigel? We got Charles in the chat saying, hey, let's go. Let's go. We got Voodoo in the chat. What is up? Nigel saying, this is not the card to get cute with. Narrow your spots and smash them. Yeah, there's 14 fights on the card. I think I'm betting on like 7 or 8 of the fights, but one of the fights I have 4 bets on. So did definitely smash that fight as a whole. Let's see if Alonzo Menifield shows up here. Yeah, apparently Alonzo Menifield was in Lou Betchia's stream, which is, if that's really him, that's awesome. Will this card be good for a round robin? Yeah, I think it could be. There's some really solid spots for a round robin, I'd say, but we'll talk about all that. I say we get into it, guys. So not much more time to waste. Let us start with the very first fight of the night. And we have Aaron Blanchfield going against J.J. Aldrich. So Blanchfield now minus 510, and then J.J. Aldrich is plus 385. So it looks like some monies came back in on J.J. Aldrich. It makes sense. This line should not be this wide, but it's one of those fights where, yeah, it's a wide line, but I do think Blanchfield should go out here and win pretty convincingly. You know, her last fight against Maverick really opened up a lot of eyes, including mine, because my goodness, you know, she came in there as an underdog, and she went out there and just smoked Miranda Maverick, you know, taking her down easily, almost finishing her a couple times as well. Just a very impressive performance for Blanchfield. This, of course, is going to be a step in competition from the Mavericks, from the Sarah Alpars of the world. But, you know, J.J. Aldrich, her takedown defense on paper is good. Her striking is good, and J.J. Aldrich will probably even have the striking advantage. It's just, will she be able to stuff the takedowns of Aaron Blanchfield? I lean towards no. I think Blanchfield should get it down to the mat. She should be able to control Aldrich when it gets down to the mat. Could be closer than the line does indicate, but I really struggle to, you know, pick J.J. Aldrich in this fight. As far as, you know, betting goes, like Blanchfield minus 510, I don't hate it as a parlay piece, especially it's still coming down. It looks like I saw minus 490 for Blanchfield on DraftKings, which is a lot better than minus 600 earlier. So I think she's a fine parlay piece. If you want to, you know, improve the price tag a little bit, Aaron Blanchfield by decision minus 190 is much better than the minus 510 as well. I think the over 2.5 and the fight goes to decision are decent parlay pieces as well. J.J. Aldrich, very tough to finish, brown belt and BJJ in her own right. So, yeah, I like Blanchfield. I like Blanchfield by decision on DraftKings. Definitely a steep price to pay for Aaron Blanchfield at 9,600. I have some of her. I do like some other fighters in that 9K range better. But, you know, she's going to do good. She's going to get takedown. She's going to get control time. But I could say the same thing with a lot of these fighters in the 9K range. Like Evloev, he's going to get takedowns, control time, and he's like 200 cheaper. Damon Jackson, same thing. He's 100 cheaper. And then on top of that, Renat Fakhretdinov, he's 600. No, he's 400 cheaper. And I like him as well. Jeff Molina's in the 9K range. So really stacked 9K range. I don't think Blanchfield's like a must roster, but I do think she does score fairly well there. So give me Blanchfield. No crazy take here. I think Blanchfield does get it done. Blanchfield, third round decision. I like it. Not sure what the odds are on that, but probably around the minus 200 range. I do like that. Rob saying, just finished watching Happy Hour. Sorry if I'm a little late. What is up, Rob? You're just in time. Aaron Blanchfield should win this, but based on the odds, I'm not betting this one passing. Yeah, I have no bet on this first fight of the night. JJ isn't live at all. Yeah, I don't think so personally, but if she can stuff the takedown somehow, if this does play on the feet, she is live, but I just don't see it happening. So I'm with you. I'm liking the time props on this card. Yeah, me too. I have a bunch. JJ KO should be plus 5,000. Yeah, JJ KO is plus 1,200. Then JJK or sub is plus 3,000. Then Adam made it. What is up, Adam? Over under 3.5 takedowns for Blanchfield. Feeling over, I would lean towards the over. But I don't know. Like, she could just take down Aldrich once, and that could be the round. So kind of tricky there, but I would slightly lean the over. Hey, Brady, love the back-to-back shows. I hope your hard work pays off. Appreciate that. Awesome. Doesn't mean a ton there. We'll keep moving on, guys. We have the next fight of the card. We have Rinat Fakhretdinov going against Andreas Michailidis. So this one's weird because, first of all, we don't know a ton about Fakhretdinov. He has a really good record on paper, but you go and look at his fights outside the UFC, and he's fighting a ton of cans up until, kind of recently. But, I do like what I see from him in terms of the wrestling, the cardio, has some power as well. And then we have Andreas Michailidis, who, this is kind of weird. So he made his debut in the UFC at 205 pounds. And then he eventually went to 185. And then now this fight is at 170. And this is the very first fight at 170. I thought he looked okay on the scales, but, how is that extra 15 pounds going to cut or going to help his chin? That's very questionable. And how's that extra 15-pound cut going to help his cardio, who this guy has probably the worst cardio on the card and some of the worst cardio you'll see in the UFC. Like, his cardio is around like that Rodolfo Vieira cardio. Like, it's bad. It is very bad. I've seen this guy, almost looks like he's going to pass out when he gets to the second round. So I see a lot of people taking a shot on Michailidis. And why not? I mean, we don't know a ton about this Fakhretdinov guy. He could come in here and be a fraud, but, I just cannot ever, bet Michailidis with that cardio. Like, if you like Michailidis, it's probably look at the first round prop, but after the first round, this guy just falls off a cliff. So I think it's going to be very competitive early on. Maybe Michailidis could win that first round, but I think as the fight goes on, Michailidis is going to slow down. He's going to gas out, and Fakhretdinov is going to finish him. I think both guys are live for an early finish, but I think as the fight goes on, like I said, Fakhretdinov is very live for a second or third round finish as well. The way I play this fight is just the violence here. I have 2 units on. The fight doesn't get the decision, minus 190. Fakhretdinov, 89% finish rate, and then Michailidis an 85% finish rate. And on top of that, Michailidis has been finishing all of his losses, all 5 by KO, and you can see why. This guy has no gas tank. And again, cutting down to 170 for the first time, it's not going to help. It's not going to get any better. So I think Fakhretdinov wins this fight. I think he wins it probably second or third round. Could even be the first round, but I like Fakhretdinov here for the win, just fading the cardio of Michailidis. From a DraftKings perspective, Fakhretdinov 9,200. I think he's going to be one of the sneakier plays up at that 9K range. Everybody's going to play Blanchfield. Everybody's going to play Damon Jackson. Everybody's going to go up there and play Jeff Molina, Evloev. I think he's going to kind of go under-owned, and I feel like he has takedown upside in his own right. I think he has some serious finish upside, and I think he does finish Michailidis there. And then as far as a pump play for Michailidis, 7K, if he does win, honestly, it's probably in the first round, so I don't mind some sprinkles on him, but I do like me some Fakhretdinov here, but I do like violence more than anything there. So we got in the chat here. Melon saying, love you. Thanks for the content. Melon, I do enjoy you being in the chat as always. Somebody with some hot takes. I do enjoy reading those. Mushroom saying fight doesn't go decision or under 2.5. Yeah, the under 2.5 round minus 150. I do like that. Let's see here. I actually Rinat against Andreas. You like Rinat against Andreas? I actually like Rinat against Andreas. I don't think Andreas won't be able to finish off Rinat. Yeah, if he does win, it's probably a first round finish. But if not, the guy gasses out so bad. Mushroom liking the violence. I like it as well. Brandon coming in late, all good. He did not miss much so far. A lot to talk about still. Violence is the way to bet it. Yeah, definitely agree. Thomas saying, good luck, boys. Let's see some violence. Good luck to you as well, Thomas. And yes, some violence as well. Hey, who's the skinny guy on the screen? Happy Friday. Appreciate you, Ice Viking. Happy Friday to you as well. Let's keep moving on to the next fight. And we have Jeff Molina going against Zhumagulov. So I saw last week, and this is where I kind of hate the weeks off because I feel like I miss things at times. And, I missed Jeff Molina at minus 150 last week, was not able to look into it in time. And then I missed something else on the card that I missed that I would have really liked to hit. But that got hit as well on the week off. So I like the weeks off, but at the same time, I really don't because I miss things. And of course, no fights on Saturday definitely does suck. But yeah, I missed the line on Jeff Molina. if you got in around minus 140, minus 150 range, I think that's very solid look. Minus 180 is definitely getting up there. Minus 200 now on some books. It's definitely getting up there. But yeah, I think Jeff Molina does win this fight. I think it could be competitive or more competitive than the line does indicate, especially if Zhalgas does implement some wrestling. Jeff Molina on paper, like a 37% takedown defense. But, Zhalgas thus far in the UFC just has not had any success in terms of A, taking down his opponents, and B, holding him down. So if he's not able to take down and hold down Jeff Molina, if this is on the feed, it's going to be Jeff Molina just out-voluming Zhumagulov throughout 3 rounds. So to step up in competition 100%, going from it's going from the Silva guy, Daniel Lacerda guy, going from Richie Long to Zhumagulov, who has fought good competition both in and outside the UFC. It's a step up, but I do think it is a step up that Jeff Molina does pass here. So I like Jeff Molina. I like him to win by decision, which is actually plus money, plus 115. I think I would look towards that. Zhalgas, very tough, only been finished twice in 6 fights. But yeah, give me Molina here. As far as the DK perspective, I don't know. Molina 9,000, that is definitely a steep price to pay, but he's going to throw a ton of volume. I don't think he finishes Zhalgas. I think I like other guys around him more, like Evloev more. I like David Jackson more, but not more. I like some guys below him more, Menifield, Osbourne more, but I still think Molina is definitely in play just because of the crazy volume that he throws. And as far as Zhalgas, if he, not a terrible punt, if he is able to get the takedowns, those could add up. Jeff Molina's takedown defense is not great. So it should be a fun fight, a fight that I don't have a bet on, but I'm looking forward to see if Jeff Molina could pass this step up, and I do lean towards him doing so. Mushroom saying the Molina 3rd round decision. Yeah, I like that. I'm actually curious to see what that is because that makes a ton of sense. A 3rd round decision because he could put on a pace and maybe finish August late, but I think the decision is more than likely. Bovada just refuses to release the prop for Rozenstruik by finish. Really? Do they? Bet voided if it goes to decision. That's what I'm waiting for. You're talking about the scorecards equals no action, then the finish only. So BetOnline has it out, 5 dimes, DraftKings, and FanDuel. So Bovada still has not released that. Interesting. But yeah, I'm on that as well. I think it's a great look. This week, the weeks off suck. I end up laying money on KSW and Cage Warrior. Yeah, I try my best to not do any of that, but hopefully it worked out for you. Jeff Molina 29-27. Do you see this going over 1.5? I do. I think if there is a finish, like Mushroom saying, it's probably in the 3rd round after he puts on a really big pace there. But we'll keep moving on. We have the next fight is Tony Gravely versus Johnny Munoz Jr. This is probably my most anticipating fight on the prelims. Like it's such a fascinating stylistic matchup where you have Tony Gravely, the guy's just a monster in terms of the takedowns, averaging over 6 takedowns per 15 minutes. And then you have a guy in Johnny Munoz Jr. who's a legit black belt. This guy is very, very slick on the mat. And what does Tony Gravely struggle with? Well, he struggles with getting submitted. The guy's been submitted 5 times. So that's what makes this fight so interesting because I see Gravely probably being the better striker, but this fight is going to play out on the mat, and Johnny Munoz Jr. is going to have 15 minutes to lock something up. And another thing is we do see Gravely slow down as the fight goes on. He does get tired, and you watch like every single Gravely fight, like he's getting put in bad spots in like every single fight, whether he's getting out of them or getting submitted. He's getting put in some very bad spots, and I feel like Munoz is going to have so many opportunities to find a submission at some point. So it's pretty simple here. If you like Tony Gravely, I really think decision plus 210 is the way to go. Johnny Munoz never been finished. Gravely only a 55% finish rate. And if you like Johnny Munoz, I think there's a couple ways you play it. You play the submission prop. You play the inside the distance prop. You play the scorecards equals no action at plus money. And I actually did take a quarter unit sprinkle on Johnny Munoz inside the distance. So BetOnline, they had the submission prop at plus 275. And they had the inside the distance at plus 275. So I played the inside the distance, and they actually have the same thing as of now. Last time I checked, they have Munoz by sub is plus 250. Inside the distance is plus 250 as well. You might as well just take the inside the distance just in case like a TKO happens. But yeah, I think Munoz, he's going to have his opportunities. I think the sub's very live. Not getting the best odds on it, but why would you? Like that's his path to victory. It's a sub. It's probably a sub off his back. Another thing I want to say is Munoz, if he can get on top of Gravely, like Gravely's takedown defense thus far has been around 50% in the UFC. If Munoz can take down Gravely, I think Gravely's in some big trouble. Munoz's ground game is just no joke. And like I said, Gravely's been submitted a ton. So Munoz for me, as far as a pick, I get why Gravely's the favorite. He should be the minute winner. I think Gravely should win by decision, but he's really going to have to mind his P's and Q's for 15 minutes. But from a GK perspective, I like both sides here. Gravely, if he wins, he's going to be optimal. This guy averages 125 in his wins, If he wins, it's going to be a ton of takedowns, a ton of control time. And then Munoz, if he wins, it's going to be probably a submission. So I think both sides you're going to look for on DraftKings, especially these price tags. It's really hard not to see this fight ending up on the optimal lineup. But as far as a pick, I'll go Munoz for the upset. And as far as a bet, just a quarter unit sprinkle on the Munoz to win inside the distance. I think he's very live for a sub at some point in this fight. Mushroom saying Munoz by sub. Yeah, I think it's very live, very live. Yeah, Gravely has been getting subbed in his last fights. I'm not sure if he had managed to improve on those parts, but I do like his striking of the feet. Yeah, he's going to be the better striker. Not by a ton, but he's the better striker. But yeah, he's still getting put in a lot of bad spots. Like against Burchak, he got put into a bad spot. Against Simon Oliveira, got put into a very bad spot. If Munoz gets those same opportunities, he's very, very live for a sub. Fight doesn't go decision under 2.5. Yeah, I kind of think like if this fight does finish, it's from Munoz. If it does go to decision, it's probably Gravely. Kind of one of those fights. I like Munoz Jr. as the underdog. Yeah, I don't hate it as well. I think he's going to have a ton of opportunities. But we will keep moving on. Lots to talk about. We have Benoit Saint-Denis going against Nicolas Stolze. Yeah, there's 2 fights on this card I really want nothing to do with. Obviously Felice, Herrig, Karolina, Kowalkiewicz, and then it's going to be Benoit Saint-Denis going against Nicolas Stolze. So yeah, there's nothing to do with this fight here. So Benoit Saint-Denis, he's getting the Chris Moutinho treatment. This guy went out there in his debut, just got his ass kicked for 3 rounds, and he got some hype off of it. People, he's very tough, and people really like these tough guys. But I did not like anything I saw in the Santos fight or Zaleski fight. And then you go and look at his fights outside the UFC, and I'm like, my goodness, like, is this guy even UFC caliber? He started MMA. His very first fight was in 2019. He's so green. He's getting swept and reversed multiple times by these lower level guys. He's submission over position, just not impressed at all with Benoit Saint-Denis. So for him to be a -150 favorite just makes no sense. And then you take a look at Nicolas Stolze, like, is this guy UFC caliber? I'm not sure he is as well. So I want nothing to do with this fight. I would not recommend laying chalk on Benoit Saint-Denis. I have no clue what's going to happen here. I guess he could get takedowns, but, Nicolas Stolze is a brown belt in BJJ. Saint-Denis, very sloppy on the mat. Maybe he gets reversed, and on the feet, it's Stolze all day. So I'm going to pick the dog in Stolze. I just don't really want to bet this fight. As far as the DK standpoint, like Saint-Denis, 8,500. If he wins, it's probably takedowns, control time, maybe a sub, 100% finish rate. You got to look at some. And then I think Stolze is a very sneaky play at 7,700. The much better striker, good grappler in his own right, has fought the better competition. So I don't mind that. But yeah, this is a fight where I just want nothing to do with it. Nothing really sticks out. The fight doesn't go decision, -155, doesn't really stick out. Just nothing. I want nothing to do with this fight. But if anything, if I was forced to bet this fight, it probably would be a dog shot on Stolze. But even then, I'm not running to the window to bet on Stolze. But if I will be looking to fade Benoit Saint-Denis in the very near future. Waller saying Stolze, I think is very live, but again, I'm not even sure how good he is. So it's just a very, very weird fight. But the last thing I'd want to do is lay -150 on Benoit Saint-Denis for no reason. Saint-Denis' second UFC fight, and Stolze is its third UFC fight. And yeah, got both guys without a win. Somebody's going to win here. We'll have to see who it is, but I don't know. Just nothing I want to do with this fight, honestly. But I'll sit back and watch. It should be a good fight, but just can't bet this one. Stolze ices him in the first minute, you think? Kind of like the Guido Canetti Chris Moutinho fight. You think that happens? Maybe. I'd be shocked, but hey, anything can happen. I might go with underdog on this one. If the new debuting fighter, Stolze has had two fights thus far in the UFC. Emeev and then Jared Good, and this will be his third. But yeah, not betting this fight whatsoever. Saint-Denis for the win. He definitely could, but I'm not laying -150 to find out. I don't think he's good at all. But at the same time, I don't really think Stolze is that good as well. So big giant pass. Two fights on this card I'm not betting, or I'm definitely not even considering betting, and this is the first one there. All right, next fight we have Ode Osbourne going against Zarrukh Adashev. Osbourne -180. It looks like he's like money's pouring in on him. It looks like he's -200 now. Zarrukh Adashev is +155. So yeah, I actually like Osbourne here a decent amount. Osbourne to win inside the distance +165 really sticks out. Osbourne's a very good finisher, an 80% finish rate. Osbourne's actually been finished in 3 of his 4 losses as well. I think violence is a very sneaky way to look here. Osbourne in his last fight, prior to his last fight against CJ Vergara, who's very tough, his last 8 fights prior to that ended in the very first round. This guy is a killer be killed fighter. He's going out there, he's getting a submission, he's getting a knockout, or he's getting finished in his own right. Zarrukh Adashev's been finished in 2 of his 3 losses, 1 by sub, 1 by knockout. I think Ode Osbourne is going to have a bunch of opportunities to finish early on. Osbourne's going to have an 8-inch reach advantage. He hits very, very hard. Zarrukh Adashev, I question the chin. I question his durability. And then I also question the ground game a ton. Like, Osbourne is very good on the mat. If he's able to get the fight down to the mat, I think he submits Zarrukh in the very first round. It's just, will he, A, attempt takedowns, and will he, B, get them? And if he does, I think he's very live for the sub. So I kind of see it being like an Osbourne early or a Zarrukh Adashev late. Osbourne does slow down as the fight goes on. Osbourne is extremely hittable, only a 42% strike in defense. I think he could potentially get knocked out by Adashev, but I like Osbourne here. I think he has more paths to victory. 8-inch reach advantage is huge, and I think he either knocks out or submits Zarrukh Adashev in the very first round. I do a bet on this fight. This was the only bet I did place last week. I have the under 2.5 rounds, plus 120, 1 unit on that. It's still plus money. So I still think that's a very good look. Again, Osbourne, when he's winning, it's typically in the very first round. And I think he has a really good opportunity to knock out or submit Zarrukh Adashev. And if he does not, I can see him slowing down as the fight goes on and getting finished in his own right. One thing that really stuck out to me in his interview with Osbourne, he's the guy that said he does not like to win minutes. He's there to win moments and get finishes, which it's something you want to hear if you're backing violence, but it's not really something you want to hear if you're betting Osbourne at minus 200. But he said it himself. He wants to go out there and get a finish. And I think he does here. So DraftKings 8,900, another guy that I think up in this range is going to go very underlooked. You have Menifield around the price. You have Molina around the price. And, of course, the guys in the 9K range. I think Osbourne is going to go very underlooked. And I think it could be a mistake because I think he's very live to win in that very first round. But the pick is Osbourne. I guess Adashev could be live late, maybe a live betting look for Adashev. But I think Osbourne does get him out of there in the very first round. Much of saying Adashev third round decision. Yeah, I think I know Lou Becci was on that third round prop for Adashev. I think it could be live for sure. Osbourne slows down a ton. Osbourne inside the distance. Yep, I think it's a really good look, especially at plus 165 rather than laying minus 200. Osbourne, KO, and sub. Yeah, I agree. This Brady guy has a haircut that won't quit. Look amazing, chef. Well, it's not as good as a haircut as Verna Jandaroba, but it's a decent haircut. I agree. Brandon saying I had the under 2.5. I like it. Adashev ices this bum. Ode's made out of glass. Yeah, I wouldn't say Ode's a bum. I'd kind of argue that Zarrukh could be the bum here, but we'll have to see what happens. I think somebody does get iced, though. See if I missed anything here. And I think we're good. All right, let's keep moving on. 66 of you in here. If y'all can leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Let's get those likes up. We're going to keep moving on to the next fight. And we have Damon Jackson going against Daniel Argueta. And if you guys know me, if you guys have been watching for all this year, really, I've been trying to stay away from the parlays, I think, all year. And I think it's like 15 or 16 cards under our belt. I have like 3 parlays, and I'm 1-1 in 1 on those 3 parlays. So I actually do have a parlay for this card and next card. And as my biggest bet on the card, I have a parlay with Damon Jackson and then parlayed up with Jiri to share a fight wasn't good to decision. And that it comes out to minus 170, or it did. And I have 3 units on that. But, Damon Jackson's lines got smoked. I think it made the parlay on either Sunday or Monday. And Damon Jackson was around. He opened up minus 200. And now he's like minus 700, minus 725, minus 750. So can't really do much with that now. But I do think it's a great spot for Jackson. I do think the price is warranted. Just Daniel Argueta has a ton of things going against him. He's coming up a weight class. He's coming in on short notice. And on top of that, Jackson's just better everywhere in every single aspect of MMA. Jackson's fought the better competition. Jackson has much more experience. It's not even close. Jackson's the much bigger fighter. He's the natural 145er. On top of that, Jackson's the better striker, the much better striker. Although I don't think Jackson's striking's good, but Argueta just has no striking at all. And then on top of that, you have Jackson, who's the better grappler by a mile. He has better cardio by a mile. It's just a very, very tough matchup for Daniel Argueta. So, yeah, I like Jackson here. If you got in early, that's probably the way to go. But, yeah, this line's been getting smoked all week, and rightfully so. I think it's a good parlay piece. As far as the props, I don't know. I wouldn't really mess around with the props. I could see a Jackson submission. I could see a Jackson like a TKO, a knockout. I could see a Jackson decision. I think he could win any type of way. Nothing really sticks out in terms of the path to victory. Minus 180 for the fight doesn't go. I'm not in love with it, honestly. But I think this fight does probably more than likely finish inside the distance. But yeah, give me Jackson here. Jackson to win late. I'll say like late second or third round. I think he pushes the pace that Argueta's not able to keep up on short notice. and then he gets him out of there. As far as the DK perspective, 9,500, expensive, but yeah, Jackson, I think 90% finish rate, better striker, better grappler. I think the finish is live early or late. I think Jackson's a very good play on DraftKings. And as far as Argueta at 6,700, just don't really see myself getting there. I just really struggle to see a path to victory for Argueta. Is he going to submit Jackson? Absolutely not. Is he going to knock out Jackson? No, he's not. Doesn't have much striking. He's not going to TKO Jackson. I guess if Argueta wins, it's probably by decision, honestly. But even then, I just really struggle to see that happening. So I like Jackson here. Have him in a parlay, 3 units, my biggest play of the night. And yeah, I think he gets it done here. All right. Jackson by domination. Jackson inside the distance fight doesn't go in under 2.5. I think all those are very, very live. I do know one thing this weekend. There will be plenty of Jackson bets this week. Yeah, there should be. There should be, absolutely. I'm one of them. Thomas got Damon Jackson at minus 280. Yeah, let me see what I got him at. I didn't get him that early, but I got him on Monday at minus 335. So, yeah, he opened up minus 200. Would have loved that minus 200, but I was not able to look into the fight when that line was out. Jackson first round arm triangle. Daniel will hopefully be cut after the UFC. I actually think Argueta's a pretty good fighter. Just this is a tough ask, a very tough ask. His striking should be improving slowly in the UFC. Talking about Argueta, yeah, I mean, it can't get any worse. I'm just worried for some underdogs that can ruin my round robin, so I will be careful with the underdogs. Yeah, there are definitely some live dogs on this card, that's for sure. All right, I'm going to take a drink break, and then we'll continue. And we are back. I got Alonzo getting smoked. My goodness, I don't know. You think Mozharov smoked? So I don't know. Jackson by sub, I think, but it ain't worth a unit play. Yeah, Jackson by sub's only minus 110. I would not bet because I could also see a TKO. I could see a knockout. I could see a decision, but I think sub's the most likely one. And yeah, I agree. All right, let's keep moving on. We have Joe Solecki going against Alex de Silva. And very tempted on Alex de Silva. I'm not going to pull the trigger on it because if I did, I'd be breaking one of my rules. And one of my rules is do not bet fighters with poor cardio. And Alex de Silva most definitely has poor cardio. But I really like what I see from the guy. He's a very good wrestler, very good grappler, very good striker. He's going to have the striking advantage in this fight as well. He's young. He's 26 years old. He's been off for about 2 years. So maybe he comes in, makes improvements, hopefully with the cardio, because that's the one thing. If this guy had cardio, I'd be betting minus or plus 145 all day. It's just I have a feeling that he looks really good in the first round, and then he slows down as the fight goes on. Solecki's able to take over, and then maybe Solecki could finish him late. That's what I'm kind of worried about. So if you like Solecki, I would absolutely not bet him at minus 165. What I would do is wait till after the first round. I have a really strong feeling that he loses that first round, and then probably bet Solecki in that second round at a much better price. But yeah, that's the cardio. So I think it's going to be a very close fight. I think Silva wins the first round. I think Solecki wins that third. I think it comes down to the second. I think Silva can get takedowns. Solecki, his takedown defense is not great. His get-up game is just non-existent. We've seen Jim Miller take him down, control him. We saw Jared Gordon get on top and control him. Does not really have a willingness to get back up. Just content to lay on his back. I think Silva can easily, get takedowns, get on the mat. I think he can outstrike Solecki. It's just, what happens as the fight goes on. And that's why I ultimately cannot bet de Silva as a dog here, although it is very, very intriguing. But I'm kind of banking on stuff I have not seen yet, and that is the potential improvements of the cardio, which I'm hoping, but have not seen it. And this guy slows down as the fight goes on quite a bit. So again, not a fight I want to get involved with, but the pick is going to be the underdog in de Silva, but no cardio. I can't get there. I just can't get there. As far as the time props, nothing really sticking out. I could see it probably going to decision, but I could maybe see a Solecki late finish if de Silva really does gas out. Curious to see what Solecki in round 3 is. That could be on the table for sure. De Silva, if he gasses out bad, if he goes for a sloppy takedown, he could definitely get choked out. Solecki's a legit black belt in BJJ. Silva, he's a good grappler, but he's a purple belt. He's been submitted before. I don't know. It's a fight I don't want anything to do with, but very tempted on de Silva. But no cardio is just making me pass here. I need cardio. Absolutely. All right. Looks like we need some mods in the chat. Alonzo getting smoked. What are you smoking? Alonzo seems slow to me. Solecki inside the distance fight doesn't go under 2.5. Betting against the Silva's Gaston. Hey, why not? Why not? Look at that. Look at that Solecki third round prop. I got Joe in a sloppy decision. I feel like this could get very, very sloppy. Very sloppy. Fact, Brady Silva's gas tank is a problem, but he could come back after you with a great cardio gameplay. Yeah, I mean, he could come back and look much better. I will say I did not like what I saw at the weigh-ins for Silva. He did not look great. He looked very, very sucked out. So if he had a bad weight cut, that's only going to hurt him. So yeah, the weigh-ins did not give me much confidence in terms of betting Silva in this spot, but I'll still pick him. But the cardio is just not giving me a ton of confidence there. All right, let's keep it going. We have the 1-800 Gambler fight of the week. We have Felice Herrig going against Karolina Kowalkiewicz. We have Felice Herrig -120, Karolina Kowalkiewicz at +100. This is a fight that just has so many red flags that it's nuts. On one side, you have Felice Herrig, who, by the way, this is a 115-pound fight. We have Felice Herrig, who is now 37 years old, coming off like a 2-year layoff. She's on a 3-fight losing streak. She's not won in like 5 years, just about. She has an OnlyFans. I believe she's doing like only feet on there. Nothing else. What's she going to look like? Like, she's had 2 major surgeries. She's coming off a bunch of injuries. Like, what is 37-year-old Felice Herrig going to look like? And then on the flip side, we have Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who's looked like complete crap. 5 losses in a row. Her last win comes in like 2018, and it was against Felice Herrig. But since then, she's just looked awful. And it's like a slow decline of just looking terrible. And then the Jessica Penney fight was just the last straw. And I thought that'd be the last we saw of her, but apparently not. She's back here against Felice Herrig. My goodness, what a fight. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like who's more washed at this point? I don't know. Like, I don't like Karolina. She won the first fight, but that was back in 2018, like 5 years ago, just about. She was able to stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet, and outstrike Herrig. I guess I could see that, but I could also see, Karolina being just so washed that, I don't know, Herrig's able to get her down, control her. Karolina could quit. I think that's on the table. Like, this fight is such a mess. So I don't see how anybody could be confident in either side. I don't see how anybody could be betting this fight. Wouldn't recommend parlaying the overs and the fight goes to decisions. I know people like parlaying those women's fight goes to decisions. If you did that in Karolina's last fight, you got completely screwed. Because somebody could just quit. I mean, this fight is bad. I'm going to take Karolina as far as the pick goes with little to no confidence. On the full card article I do a confidence rating on every single pick, 1 out of 10. And the confidence rating I gave for this fight, I think, has been the lowest thus far, and it was 1. I have a 1 confidence rating out of 10 on Karolina Kowalkiewicz winning this week. Just goes to show, like, nobody should be betting on this fight. If you're betting on Herrig, I don't know. I don't know what you're banking on. You're banking on Karolina being like completely washed. If you're betting on Karolina, you're banking on her not being completely washed and stuffing the takedowns and keeping on the feet and outstriking Herrig. So do you want a 37-year-old OnlyFans Felice Herrig, or do you want a quitting 5-fight losing streak Karolina who does not look like she wants to be there? How about neither would be the best option there? So give me Karolina, but no confidence in this one. Uncle Weezy went on a rant on his show on Tuesday saying if somebody bets on this fight, he's going to beat them with a sack of oranges. He's actually going to juice the oranges. And then I think he said like he's going to drink the orange juice over your body if you do bet this fight. So yeah, I would not recommend betting this fight. Or do you feel like Gravely Munoz is this week's Cortez Gatto? It could be. It could be Gravely's in terms of that fight is going to be the Cortez, and then Munoz is going to be the Gatto. And in that fight, we saw that Cortez was able to get the takedowns and stay safe, and Gatto was not able to find the sub. Yeah, I kind of feel like that. If we are going to get Felice versus Karolina, the UFC might as well book Ken Shamrock versus Chuck Liddell next week. You might as well. Herrig inside the distance. KK is ass. She's also a quitter. Yeah, I think they're both ass, honestly. But yeah, she could quit. She very well could quit. And Herrig inside the distance is plus 400. I'd need plus 10,000 to bet on this anything on this fight. Herrig's knees are as useful as Jello hammers. Yeah, her knees, bad knees. Herrig looked emotionally invested. I got Karolina by decision. She did look emotionally invested, right? She did look good. So if you like Herrig, you like to see that, but yeah, who knows? Karolina is my ass shaving of the century. Free money, 5-unit bet. My goodness, Melon. Uncle Weezy is going to be showing up your door. My goodness. I don't know about that. Mozharov has had fixed fights and is still being sanctioned to the UFC. I'll tell you what, he's going to get cut after this fight. I mean, there's no way he's going to. They're going to let him keep fighting after all this narrative, all this nonsense. But we'll talk about that fight very soon. What will it take for you to bet on this fight? I don't. You probably couldn't pay me to bet on this fight, honestly. Like, I don't even know what I would even bet if I was to bet this. Like, I'm not. No, I can't do it. Victor checking in. What is up, Victor? How you doing? And then Sean saying Wheezy 2024, and I agree with that. All right, guys, let's move on to the people's main event, my main event. We have Alonzo Menifield going against Askar Mozharov. And I have 12 bets on this card, and 1/3 of those bets actually come on this fight. I have 4 bets on this fight. Is that a good thing? I don't know. It could be, or it could be a very bad thing because, my goodness, what is this fight? The money line is interesting here. So Alonzo Menifield opened up -130, and I actually bet him during the show on Sunday with Wheezy on Stat Diggers. I bet him at -151 during the show. So I knew he was a fraud before most people. I mean, you go watch tape on this guy and Mozharov, and this guy is, first of all, fought the worst competition you'll ever see. Like, you look at Jordan Wright, right? Jordan Wright is a guy that has fought very bad competition outside of the UFC, Alaska FC. This guy, I mean, his opponents, Mozharov's opponents, make Jordan Wright's opponents look somewhat decent. Like, this is the bottom of the barrel. I've never seen anything like it. So there's that. This is a guy that, I've seen him tap the strikes. This guy's a good hammer and a very, very bad nail. So I kind of knew he was a fraud before all the stuff came out throughout the week. But, throughout the week, this is a guy that I think I have the original record still on here, actually. So at the beginning of the week, Mozharov was 25-7. And then I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, he goes from 25-7 to like 25-11, something like that. And then like a couple days later, he's like 27-12. And I think now he's like 19-12, like something crazy like that. He's like 19-12 as I speak. And that could keep lowering, like it could keep getting worse. And then there's an article that came out, I think it was SureDog, and it basically is talking about him like changing his name, him acting like a promoter and calling people and getting his record changed. There's stuff about him actually throwing the fights and admitting to losing the fights on purpose because he needed money. And yeah, this guy is in the UFC. So after all that information came out, people are cashing out of their Mozharov bets. People are switching sides here to Menifield, and why should you not? This guy, if you did not think he was a fraud before, now he's most definitely a fraud. And on top of that, I posted a picture on Twitter. I said, when you lie on your resume, and I took a picture of Mozharov's Tapology picture, and I took a picture of Mozharov yesterday when they were taking pictures for the photo shoot. And this guy, completely different guy, like a completely different guy. This guy looks nothing like he did a couple years ago when he was beating those bums. This guy, USADA definitely played a factor in this. This guy looks nothing like he did, nothing at all. So if you did not think he was a fraud before, this guy's a fraud. This guy's an actual fraud. And Menifield should starch this guy. Like, Menifield should run through this guy, no problem. He has 12 losses, 11 of them in round one. And you take a look at the losses, there's some of the worst fighters you've ever seen in your life. But with all this said, like, if Mozharov wins, it's going to be in the first 20 seconds. And I think it'd be hilarious if Mozharov won, because this guy is and I think they'd even cut him if he won. But if he wins, it's going to be in the first 30 seconds. I'll give him 30 seconds in the first time he battles any adversity in this fight, whether it's Menifield landing a big shot, whether it's Menifield taking him down. This guy's going to look for the door. He's going to look for a way out, and Menifield should starch him in the first round. So let me talk about the 4 bets I have. So the first bet, like I said, I have 1 unit on Menifield, straight -151. Wish I would have went heavier on that. I have 1 unit on the under 1.5 rounds, minus 165. And then I have 1.5 units on the fight won't start round 3, minus 220. And then I have a quarter unit sprinkle on Mozharov to win in round 1, plus 470. I sprinkled that before I figured out all the crazy nonsense. But still, I think if you like Mozharov, why not bet the round run prop at nearly plus 500? So that's kind of how I played it. I think Menifield runs through this guy. No problem in the very first round. But yeah, if Mozharov wins, it's probably within the first 30 seconds. And again, it's probably hilarious as well. But yeah, this guy's getting cut. He's getting cut as soon as this fight's over. You best believe it. I'd be shocked if they kept him around. I've never seen anything like this at all. Alonzo by murder, yeah, I'd be shocked if Alonzo did not finish this guy. Like, this is going to be Mozarov's toughest fight by a mile, and it's not even close. Askar's fight tape is insane. In one fight, he lands a body kick on his opponent 10 seconds in, and dude laid down and quit. Yeah, he quit before it even landed. There were some fights where, like, the dude's quitting when, like shots are barely, like, those fights seem, like, fixed to me. Like, it's crazy. It is crazy. Just so sketchy. By the time this fight starts, Askar will have a 500 record. Yeah, I'm surprised. It's not that already, but yeah, it's crazy. 25-7 to 19-12. Monk is 20-12 in the UFC. One better than that Friday. I like it. Askar knows he better go in there and throw caution. Yeah, I mean, that's what he does. That's what he does. He throws caution to the wind for about 10 seconds. Askar is about to catch a body. Hey, anything can happen, but my goodness, Menifield should not lose to this guy. I mean, it's not the same guy. You go watch tape on this guy and look at him now. I noticed at the interviews, like, this guy looks completely different. Looks so different. A couple years ago, he was using the same name same doctor as John Jones. Now he's using the same coke dealer. My goodness, definitely the same doctor. Alonzo Menifield is Uncle Weeze's Ash Shame of the Week. I have a 1.5 unit bet on him to win inside the distance, and I think you got that at plus money, which is nice because now he's like minus 150. There you go. Alonzo Menifield round 1 is plus 150. Yeah, I like it. To be fair, Askar has beaten a huge bag of wings. Yeah, and like I said, it's not the same Askar. This guy looks completely different. USADA definitely has something to do with that. All right, let's keep moving on. We have a couple more fights to get to, and we're doing pretty good on time. We have Poliana Botelho going against Karine Silva. We have Silva minus 125, and then Botelho plus 105. So I do have a bet here. This is the other bet I did place on Sunday. The fight doesn't go decision, plus 131 unit on it. And yeah, it's still around there, which is interesting because we have Silva, who is a kill or be killed fighter, 100% finish rate, and only one time has Silva went to decision. And I really like violence in this spot. Like, Silva, if she wins, it's going to more than likely be in the first round. The majority of her wins do come in the first round. And then we saw in the Contender Series fight and other fights, especially, like, when the fight does get out of the first round, her cardio falls off a cliff. Not as bad as like an Andreas Michailidis, but it's still very bad. She was able to get the finish in her last fight on the Contender Series in the second round, but it's still a very bad look. So I think it's kind of a Silva early or a Botelho late type situation. I do not like what I see from Botelho in terms of the ground game. Robertson, who's a good grappler in her own right, black belt, she was able to take her down multiple times. She was able to get into mount multiple times. She's able to almost finish the fight, but, kind of time ran out in that fight. At the end of each round, she was able to take her back as well. And then, of course, Cynthia Calvillo was able to submit her with no hooks in as well. So, yeah, Silva gets her down to the mat. I think the sub is very, very live. Silva's very dangerous, 100% finish rate, like I said. But if she does not finish the fight in the first round, Silva's cardio is going to fall off a cliff. And Botelho, a very good finisher in her own right, 75% finish rate. And Silva has been finished in 3 of her 4 losses. So, yeah, I think violence is the answer here. Plus money. I mean, nothing wrong with the plus money shot on a killer be killed fighter and then Silva there. Silva inside the distance is only plus 260. I'm curious to see what Silva round 1 would be, but I think that's how she wins. Botelho round 3 could be interesting. Botelho round 2 could be interesting because Silva's cardio does look very bad after that first round. But yeah, violence here as far as DK goes. And by the way, I didn't even talk about DK for the Menifield fight. Like that Menifield fight's a must own. You have to have a lot of that fight. Like, it's going to end in the first round, and it's probably going to end in the first couple minutes there. So Menifield, Mozharov, you better have like nearly 100% of that fight. I don't see how it does not find the way it's doesn't find the way on the optimal lineup there. But Botelho Silva, yeah, Silva 8,200. I think she has first run upside. I think she has early finish upside, submission, all the good stuff, takedowns, control time. But if she does not get the finish early, she probably does get finished in her own right. So I think Botelho and Silva, like this fight as a whole, can be very sneaky. I don't think a ton of people are going to have this fight, but I think it does have sneaky finish upside there. Smash the line. He is nearly a 3-1 favorite now. Yeah, lots of money coming in on Menifield. Poliana into the distance again, betting against a bad gas tank. Hey, nothing's wrong with doing that. I think Botelho round 2, round 3 sprinkles are decent. I'm a prop parlay bet kind of guy, Brady. As always, thanks for the honest picks and bets. No problem, Rob. I'm a prop guy. I'm definitely a prop guy, but I do have a parlay this week. Draco with some Blue Jays minus 170 live bet right now. We'll see what happens. I'm not into betting other sports really, but yeah, if you guys like MLB, there you go. Fight is a good decision. Under 2.5, also good looks. I do agree there. Stolze and Almeida, my dog's thoughts. I mean, I'm picking both of them, and I actually do have a bet on Almeida in some type of fashion. We'll talk about that next, but yeah, I think they're good dogs, and I'm definitely not touching the Stolze fight though. All right, let's keep moving on. We have a couple more fights to get through. 76 of you in here, which I think has to be a record for the MMA Engine. So let's keep growing over here, guys. Let's leave a like, let's subscribe, and let's keep growing the channel. Lots of content to come. We're gonna be doing the Contender Series as well. I think the Contender Series is coming either, I want to say July or August. So just lots of content coming in. Then, of course, the MMA Engine website is coming very, very soon. Lots of great stuff on there as well. All right, so we have Mike Trizano going against Lucas Almeida. Trizano minus 210, Almeida plus 180. I do have a bet on this fight. I have the scorecards equals no action or the finish only for Lucas Almeida, and it looks like it's getting hit on 5 dimes in Bet Online, but DraftKings, last time I checked, it still has plus 140. Which the plus 140 just makes no sense. You have Lucas Almeida with a 100% finish rate, and then you have Mike Trizano, who's not finishing anybody. Lucas Almeida has also never been finished, whereas Mike Trizano has been finished in one of his 2 losses. I think the money line is kind of nuts for Trizano here. It's coming down a little bit throughout the week, but if he wins the fight, it's probably by decision, and it's probably very, very close. Like, I'm not impressed with Mike Trizano. He's the guy that a lot of fights you think that he should go out there and wrestle, and he doesn't. And this is a fight where I think he should go out there and wrestle, but he's probably not going to. It's probably going to be standing 15 minutes, and Almeida does bring a lot of volume. I think it's going to be a very close fight, a very greasy fight. I think more than likely it does good decision. More than likely, I do think Trizano wins the decision, but I do not really want to lay minus 210 on the guy. Like, it's going to be very competitive here. So I think Almeida is going to be very live to win this fight early on by finish. This guy throws kind of caution to the wind, very dangerous anywhere the fight goes on. But I do have to slightly lean towards Trizano because he's going to be the more experienced fighter. He has won decisions before, and he has fought the much better competition by a mile. But yeah, just not liking that minus 210. So the bet for me, finish only, scorecards equals no action. For Lucas Almeida, plus 140. The line doesn't really make sense. Just don't see Trizano finishing anybody at this point. So I like that bet. As far as DK goes, Trizano is my fade of the week. And then Almeida is my favorite pump play of the week. I think Almeida, 100% finish rate, lots of volume, very dangerous. I think at 7,100 is a guy that I do like as far as a pump play on DraftKings. So, yeah, let's go Almeida. Go and have a lot of exposure to him on DK, and then liking that finish only as well. Trizano over 1.5. I think it should go over 1.5, but Almeida is going to be very live early would be my only concern. I'm on as well. I have a 0.8 unit finish only bet on Almeida plus 124. I think it's a good line. Not sure where Bet Online and 5 dimes has it, but last time I checked, like, money's pouring in on that, and rightfully so. Almeida inside the distance. Fight doesn't go to decision. Under 2.5. Money line, all good looks. Yeah, I agree. If you don't hate the shot on that money line, it's going to be a very close and competitive shot. Close and competitive fight. Like, I don't think Trizano deserves to be minus 210. And Almeida doesn't look bad at all. All right, we'll move on to the co-main event. We have 2 fights left. We have Mozhar Evloev going against Dan Ige. Evloev minus 415, and Dan Ige is plus 315. Ige, a very good fighter, obviously. It's going to be a big kind of step up in competition for Mozhar Evloev, going from, the Nick Lentzes, the Mike Grundys, the Sungwoo Choi's, guys like that. It's a good test for him, but, you take a look at Dan Ige. What has he struggled with in the UFC? Really getting taken down. Like, the Korean Zombie went out there and kind of laid out the blueprint. Bektic, had some success as well in terms of getting down Ige, who has around a 50% takedown defense. His get-up game did not look all that great. And, Korean Zombie is a very good fighter, very well-rounded. I think his grappling's underrated, black belt. But when do we ever see the Korean Zombie going out there and implementing a wrestling heavy game plan? The answer to that is not really ever. Not in the last like 10 years he hasn't. But he did against Poirier a little bit, but that was like 2012. So yeah, Evloev, I thought he looked in great shape today at the weigh-ins. You gotta love that. He should have no problem taking down Ige. He should have no problem holding down Ige. On the feet, it's honestly very competitive. Evloev is a very good striker in his own right, and that threat of the takedown, I think, helps him out as well. Ige does have some pop in his hands. Maybe he can knock out Evloev, but kind of a long shot there. Yeah, I like Evloev here quite a bit. I think he's a solid parlay piece at -415, but I think the best way to play this is Evloev by decision. That's what I did. I put 1 unit on Evloev to win by decision, -150. Evloev, a 47% finish rate. Evloev, no finish in the UFC. And then Dan Ige is just tough as nails. Dan Ige, black belt in BJJ in his own right. Dan Ige never been knocked out, and he's faced some very hard punchers, and he's been hit very hard a lot. He's been hit by Josh Emmett very hard. He got hit by Calvin Kattar very hard and a lot, and he got hit by the Korean Zombie very hard and a lot. I just would be shocked if Evloev finished this fight. If there is a finish in this fight, it's honestly probably Ige, but I honestly don't think that's too likely as well. So give me Evloev to win. Evloev by decision. If you want to improve that price tag, -160 or -165 around there is probably a good look. As far as DK goes, not going to get to a ton of Ige, but Evloev 9,400. I like him. I like him in cash. I think he's safe. I don't think he has finish upside, but you know for a fact he's going to go out there. He's going to get takedowns. He's going to get control time, and he's probably going to win the decision. So I like Evloev and DK, and I like that decision bet as well. Evloev will jab and grapple F Ige for 15 minutes. No lube, no spit. Yeah, I do agree with that. I've got Almeida to plus 215 and a parlay. Almeida Menifield fight doesn't go decision. Evloev decision, fight goes to decision over 2.5. Yeah, so the fight goes to decision is around like what, -290, -300. I think that's a parlay piece as well. Biggie Boy is the second leg of my parlay tank by KO plus Biggie Boy by KO. We'll talk about that fight soon. I also have a finish only bet at Ige plus 188. More than likely voting, but it can happen. Yeah, if you like Ige, that finish only is a great look. Like if there's a finish in this fight, it's got to be from Ige. See if I missed anything here. Mushroom like in Volkov, decision getting a little bit ahead, sprinkling Volkov 3-4-5. There's only one Ukrainian. Yeah, by the way, Askar Mozharov was calling himself the Ukrainian Conor McGregor at the press conference. My goodness. my goodness. So that happened. All right, we'll move on to the main event, though. Before we do so, 79 of you in here, you all can hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's try to get to 900 subs by fight time. Main event, Alexander Volkov, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. This was one where I really wanted to see the weigh-ins. I was hoping for the return of Thick Volkov. Thick Volkov was exciting for as long as it lasted. You know, it came in, tipped the scale 265, 264 against Overeem, and the dude looked like a freaking beast. He looked like a beast against Walt Harris. He's going out there and knocking guys out. His shots looked like they were landing harder. Actually had some power for once. He looked good as Thick Volkov. Unfortunately, he weighed in at 255 pounds today, which I'm not too happy about. It's actually Rozenstruik who weighed in heavier than Volkov. And if you guys saw the weigh-ins, like Volkov was just towering over Rozenstruik there. But I think there's a couple different ways you can play this fight. I think the fight doesn't go -140 for a heavyweight fight. 5 rounds with 2 guys that are really good finishers. I think there's some value there. I think the fight ends in KO -125 has a lot of value there. If you like Volkov, I think the Volkov 4-5 decision, like Mushroom saying, 4-5 decision, it was around like +140 last time I checked. If you like Rozenstruik, it's the knockout. Rozenstruik knockout +190. Rozenstruik scorecards equals no action is a great look. Rozenstruik would not touch the money. Like, he's not going to go out there and sub Volkov. He's not going to go out there and win a decision. The Volkov decision only, it opened up at -360. Like, that probably should be smashed, but I didn't even bother with it. But I do have a bet here. I have the Rozenstruik, the finish only. FanDuel put it out at -108. I think they call it like decision, no bet, which is the same thing as finish only, and scorecards equals no action. Bet Online had it at -115 for a while, but that line's been getting smashed all week. It's now like -150 where it probably should be. But if FanDuel still has that decision no bet at minus 108. Like, that's a really good look. That's Rozenstruk's path to victory. It's a knockout. He's not going to go out there and win minutes. If he does win, it's going to be him landing a big shot on Alexander Volkov. So that's kind of how I played it. I was very tempted on adding on to the violence here. The fight doesn't go. The fight ends in KO, but seeing Volkov not be thick Volkov kind of scared me away from that. I think if there's a finish in this fight, it's more than likely on the Rozenstruik side, and he's going to have 25 minutes to do it. So we'll see what happens. But as far as the DK perspective goes, 8,600 for Volkov, 7,600 for Rozenstruik. I don't think you absolutely need the main event, especially on a 14-fight slate. Like, if Volkov wins, it very well could be either a late finish or even a decision. And if Rozenstruik wins, it could be an early knockout. But if it goes later, if it's like a third, fourth, or fifth round knockout, it could be so low volume that it might not even make optimal lineups. So I don't love the main event from a DraftKings perspective. If anything, it's probably some Rozenstruik, just saving a ton of salary there. But not a main event I'm overly excited about. But I do like that Rozenstruik scorecard. It's equals no action there. All right, man. Off topic, looking forward to June 11th card. My girl Val and Wei Li. Sorry, had a few too many watching happy hour. There you go. Yeah, I'm going to be started looking into that card tonight. Looked into it a little bit earlier today. That's going to be a great card. I have 2 bets already for that card. It should be fun. Biggie Boy is the second leg of my big parlay tank KO. And Biggie Boy KO. I think the KO is live. Menifield shouldn't be minus 265 against Connor. Yeah, luckily he's not facing Connor. He's facing a complete fraud in Mozharov. Volkov is a huge tree that needs some chopping down by Rozenstruik. Yeah, it could happen. Absolutely could happen. Let's see if I missed anything here. Mushroom saying that Volkov decision sprinkling. Volkov 3-4-5. Yeah, Volkov by decision is plus 160. I did look at the Volkov 3-4-5 round props, but they're not really giving you a ton on those, at least not bet online. Mozharov by decision, plus Renat, safest double your money parlay. Yeah, I don't have as much confidence as Renat as you, but I do think it wins. I do think that parlay wins. But we have about a couple minutes left. Any final questions, guys? Any final comments? I'll bring them up, and then I'll quickly go through my bets. I have 12 of them. Again, 4 on one fight, so that should be fun. But the first bet is going to be Michaelias Fakhretdinov fight doesn't go to decision, minus 192 units. I have 1 unit on Alonzo Menifield, minus 151. 1 unit on Osbourne, Zarrukh Adashev, under 2.5 rounds, plus 120. 1 unit on the Menifield, Mozharov, under 1.5 rounds, minus 165. The fight doesn't go in the Karine Silva, Poliana Botelho, plus 130. 1 unit. I have my 3-leg parlay, my biggest play of the night, Damon Jackson, parlayed with the fight doesn't go next week for the main event, Jiri and Teixeira. Rozenstruik scorecards equals no action, 1 unit minus 108. Almeida scorecards equals no action, 1 unit plus 140. Evloev wins by decision, 1 unit minus 150. Menifield, Askar, Mozharov, fight won't start round 3, minus 220, 1.5 units. Johnny Munoz wins inside the distance, quarter unit sprinkle, plus 275, and then also a sprinkle on Askar Mozharov, winning in round 1 at plus 470. So yeah, that's about it. Lots of action. Feeling pretty good about the card. And if Menifield wins in the first round, it's going to be a good night. What is your most confident bet or prop? It's going to be, I guess the fight doesn't go in the Menifield Askar fight, but that's juiced. Evloev by decision, I like that a lot. And then I also like Damon Jackson a lot. I like Aaron Blanchfield a decent amount. There's a lot of good parlay pieces this week, I'd say. If I were to tell you which one is your most confident, because I'm going to tell you, my most confident, I don't know. The most confident is probably the Menifield Askar fight won't start round 3, but I got that at minus 220. It's now minus like 340. Under 1.5 in the Menifield fight is probably my most confident take on the entire card. Yeah, or Evloev by decision, but yeah, most definitely some violence in the Menifield fight. Renat's tape doesn't impress me even a tiny bit. Very average. He's okay. It's just more so, I think, a fade on Michaelides' cardio for most people, maybe. But I'm not betting on Renat. I'm betting on some violence there. Thank you for hanging out, Mushroom. Thank you for hanging out, Rob. I think we got it all, guys. So yeah, guys, leave a like on your way out. Subscribe. My betting breakdown video is actually going to come out within the next 2 minutes on my channel, DFS by the Numbers, if you want a more condensed version of this show. And then also going live with Wheezy and Narco Cop tomorrow, 1 hour prior to the prelims. The prelims do start at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So we'll be going live at 12 for best bets. So make sure you check me out over there. Follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. And we'll talk to you guys very soon. Enjoy the card. Should be a fun one. Can't wait for 13 of these 14 fights. And yeah, guys, let's make some money as always. We'll talk to you